Imagine waking up, opening your phone, and seeing that Bitcoin has surpassed the $110,000 mark. And when you blink, it's already at $115, $118, $120,000. That's how big moves happen. Fast, silent for many, but absolutely obvious to those who are prepared. And let me be very honest with you. The window of opportunity we are living in right now won't last long. This video is not just an analysis, it's a warning. And if you're preparing for your retirement, seeking safety, protection against inflation, and a real way to multiply your wealth, I need you to listen to me until the end. Because understanding what's about to happen could be the difference between a tight retirement or a comfortable, secure, and financially free life. Go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, because here I bring you the kind of information banks simply don't want you to know. If you've been following the market, you've already noticed that Bitcoin is making headlines worldwide again. Just in the past few weeks, it broke through $110,000, and heavyweight experts like Anthony Scaramucci, founder of Skybridge Capital, are already projecting that the price could hit $125,000 within weeks, and even $200,000 by the end of 2025. And you know what's even crazier? This isn't baseless speculation. This is being driven by something that has never happened before in history. The United States officially creating a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Yes, exactly like there is a gold reserve, there is now a Bitcoin reserve. That completely changes the game. And if you think this movement has nothing to do with your retirement, you urgently need to rethink that. Think with me. For decades, our parents and grandparents blindly trusted the dollar, government bonds, and the traditional stock market as the safe path to retirement. But the world has changed. The money you save today won't be worth the same tomorrow. Meanwhile, central banks are printing money like never before, silently eroding your purchasing power. Now answer me. If even governments are starting to diversify part of their reserves into Bitcoin, why shouldn't you, who are protecting the fruits of a lifetime of work, at least understand what's going on? And yes, if this is starting to make sense to you, hit that like button because it tells YouTube this content matters and helps me keep bringing real information to you. Just so you understand, what's pushing Bitcoin's price up is not just speculation. It's pure math. Bitcoin's supply is limited. There will only ever be 21 million units, never more than that. And at the same time, demand just keeps growing. Institutions, pension funds, governments, all racing to grab their share before the price shoots up even more. And if you think you've missed the boat, let me tell you something that might surprise you. The big Bitcoin cycles show that even after reaching new all-time highs, it still goes up multiple times before any significant correction. And that's exactly the moment we're living in now. I want you to imagine this. In 1997, Jeff Bezos was selling books online. Those who believed and bought Amazon stock back then are now living off dividends and multimillion-dollar net worths. Now answer me. Do you think those people regretted it? Of course not. Bitcoin today is exactly at that turning point. And if you think it's just another digital coin, let me tell you, this is a whole new asset class, recognized by governments, Wall Street giants, and most importantly, by smart people who understand that the future of wealth is no longer tied to the old rules of the game. What we're witnessing today with Bitcoin is comparable to the 19th century gold rush. Only now, the gold is digital, scarce, and global. While millions look at Bitcoin as a speculative asset, financial institutions have already understood that it has become a modern store of value. Banks, pension funds, and governments have begun a real silent race to accumulate as much as they can before it becomes inaccessible. What few people know is that the United States, just as it did with its gold reserves in the past, is already officially creating a strategic Bitcoin reserve. This completely changes the global dynamics of wealth and financial protection. Since the end of the gold standard in 1971, the dollar has relied on global trust. But that trust is crumbling. Out-of-control inflation, unpayable debts, and reckless money printing are pushing investors, institutions, and governments to look for alternatives. Bitcoin emerges not just as a digital currency, but as a new monetary standard, immune to printing and manipulation. Those who understand this realize we are living through a change that only happens once every 100 years. If you're between 50 and 70 years old and relying only on your 401k or Social Security, this chapter is for you. What's happening in the traditional markets today puts your retirement at risk. With inflation eating away at purchasing power, conservative investments no longer offer the safety they once did. Bitcoin, on the other hand, not only protects against inflation but also offers long-term appreciation potential. Ignoring this could be the most expensive mistake of your life. There are thousands of real stories of people who entered the Bitcoin market in 2015, 2017, or even 2020, and now enjoy a peaceful, free retirement with far more quality of life than they ever imagined. They didn't make crazy bets. They made smart allocations, diversified, and now they're reaping the rewards. In this chapter, I'll show you how they did it, what they avoided, and how you can replicate this strategy safely. Did you know that over 90% of all Bitcoins have already been mined? That means from now on, every new Bitcoin entering circulation is extremely contested. While you hear news about prices going up, what's really happening is a global battle over scarcity. Those who buy today are not just investing. They're protecting themselves from a future where inflationary assets will simply melt away. When Ray Dalio, Stanley Druckenmiller, Paul Tudor Jones, and other billionaires started speaking openly about Bitcoin, the game changed. They're not in this to play games. They understood that Bitcoin is a wealth preservation tool for the 21st century. In this chapter, I'll tell you exactly what their strategies are, how they allocate their assets, and how you can think like them, even if you're starting small. A secure retirement in the new financial world must be based on three pillars: protection against inflation, passive income generation, and capital growth. Bitcoin delivers two of these pillars brilliantly: protection and growth. And with the right strategies, it's also possible to generate passive income through collateral loans, DeFi yield farming, and other emerging technologies. While you're worried about gas prices, food, and medication, there's a silent bubble growing: the sovereign debt bubble. Central banks are printing money non-stop, inflating assets, and quietly eroding your retirement. Those who understand this realize that Bitcoin is not an option. It's a necessity. No, you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. With less than $100, you can already start getting exposure to this market. In this chapter, I'll teach you step by step how to open a secure account, how to protect your assets, how not to fall for scams, and how to create a simple, safe, and effective strategy for your retirement. Imagine a future where your retirement doesn't depend on governments, banks, or failing funds. Imagine a future where you control your money, your assets, and your freedom. That's already a reality for thousands of people around the world who have understood the power of Bitcoin and decentralized finance. The question is, will you wait for that future to become mainstream, or will you be one of the pioneers? Many people lose money in the crypto world not because Bitcoin fell, but because they made basic mistakes. Buying out of excitement, selling in panic, not studying, trusting shady platforms. In this chapter, I'll tell you the 7 most common mistakes that ruin retirements, and how you can avoid them completely. The future doesn't wait. Opportunities don't stand still. And Bitcoin definitely won't wait for you to decide if it's worth it or not. The decision you make today determines whether in 5 or 10 years you'll be regretting or celebrating. This is the chapter of action. Time to decide. Do you keep trusting a system that's failing, or do you start today building a retirement that truly gives you freedom, security, and peace? The choice is yours. And it starts now. And I know that right now you might be asking yourself, okay, but what about the risks? And that's a fair question. No investment is free of risk. But you know what's truly risky? Relying on a system that has proven, countless times, that it doesn't care about you. A system that prints money non-stop, offers you low interest while charging absurd fees. The real question you should be asking isn't, is investing in Bitcoin risky? But rather, how risky is it not to protect myself while all of this is happening? And look, if you're enjoying this straight talk, subscribe to the channel right now, because I always bring content that helps you make smart and protected decisions. To give you a practical example, imagine if you had invested just 5% of your wealth into Bitcoin back in 2020 when it was worth about $10,000. That small portion would have multiplied more than 10 times by today. That doesn't mean you should put everything in. Far from it. But smart diversification is the key to modern protection. It's like building a house. You don't bet everything just on the roof or just on the foundation. You need balance. And today, ignoring Bitcoin in that equation is like building a straw house in the middle of an economic hurricane. And here's something interesting. There's a quote I really like from Warren Buffett, which says, "Risk comes from not knowing what you're doing." And that's exactly why I'm here. not to sell you promises of fast wealth, but to open your eyes, to show you that those who get informed, who understand the game, no longer have to live at the mercy of a retirement that barely covers the bills. And yes, you can, even today, start building real protection for your future. But only if you act before this movement pushes the price to a level where many simply won't be able to enter anymore. Just to be clear, this isn't about becoming a trader, it's not about staring at charts all day. It's about understanding where the world is placing value. And for the first time in history, we're witnessing a silent wealth transfer, from those who still blindly believe in the traditional system, to those who understand that digital, scarce assets are becoming the new gold. But unlike gold, Bitcoin is portable, divisible, transparent, and most importantly, impossible to be inflated by any government. If you've stayed with me until now, congratulations. Because most people can't stand hearing uncomfortable truths. But you stayed. And that says a lot about you and how seriously you take your future. And look, I want to invite you. If this video made sense to you, if it opened your eyes in some way, leave a like, comment down below if you want me to bring a video showing exactly how to build a protection strategy using Bitcoin without giving up the safety you're looking for in your retirement. And of course, subscribe to the channel. Because those who are informed are protected. And those who are protected live in freedom. See you in the next video.